Having gotten the dirt out of the way, we dust ourselves off, only to find we have to now venture into the desert. The high speeds of Las Vegas will mean there's still a big roll of the dice. Keep up with the leaders and try not to lose your shirt as we get ready to watch the Kalist Synthetics 200 at Las Vegas, live here on Podium Esports. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth tonight is DJ Clark. Brian Bauer is our producer, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. DJ, this should be a fun one. This is a track that tends to offer a few different lines that you can run, so I imagine we should see plenty of passing tonight.
Yeah, we should indeed see plenty of it around here, Joe. You are more than likely able to go 2, maybe even 3 wide around this very, very quick mile-and-a-half circuit. Now, it's not quite as much of a crazy super speedway as Atlanta Motor Speedway is, but rest assured, this is one of the fastest mile-and-a-halves you are ever going to go to, and it is going to present plenty of racing action here tonight.
No doubt about that, especially with the sun going down to cool off the track. Now, as you can see, we're in round 5 out of the season, and we are going to pick up the pace even more next time out. We're going to be going to Talladega, but it's been a fascinating start to the season with a wide variety of tracks. Atlanta, as you heard earlier, a sort of semi-super speedway, if you will, with Circuit of the Americas, the road racing out of the way, then off to Richmond, and then they had Bristol Dirt last time out, and now we go to a traditional cookie cutter with Las Vegas, here with the Tri-Oval, giving them plenty of speed here tonight. Should be a fun one, especially as they work up to that postseason there from round 14 on to try and be above the cut. That's going to be the important aspect of this. I do believe that we have a couple drivers that we're going to be talking to, including Steven Stepien, who has been a bit up and down this season, unfortunately. Steven, it's probably not been the season that you've been looking for, but you've got one top 10 and you've got a top 20 in there as well. Can you finally break the duck and maybe start to get top 5s, maybe a podium?
I hope so, man. It's been a tough go to start the season with some tracks that aren't really my style. But I'm hoping to bounce back, finish here, 3rd last season, towards the tail end of the season. So hopefully can ride that momentum tonight, get back into the swing of things from last season.
Yeah, I can imagine not having that win or anything close to a win now has got to be frustrating. Do you consider yourself someone who tends towards these sort of traditional cookie cutter style tracks? As you mentioned, it was a very unique start to the season.
Yeah, I mean, I like my short tracks, mile and a half. So, yeah, I think if you're halfway decent, you're gonna have a good run here. I do think 30 is gonna play a big factor into tonight. You're gonna see a lot of guys move around, looking for some clean air because it's tough getting into the corners behind somebody and getting the air into the nose. So.
Now, looking at the results, you're honestly sitting pretty far up there in practice. I mean, are you going to be able to translate that to qualifying? And as well, what is it like over a long run pace, the car tonight?
I hope so. Haven't had much good luck on qualifying this season as much as I did last season. I was always in the top 5, top 10 starting last season, so I haven't really had good qualifying runs. Hopefully I can break the sophomore slump tonight here and get a good top 5 run to start the race. And I do think you're going to see some fall off. It's going to get loose. It's as the track cools down, it's all about managing the tires and keeping the temps cool. You're going to see some guys shift to the high line and try to make some passes on some of the guys on the low line, but you're just gonna put too much heat in the tires, and it's just you're gonna have to wait a few laps to cool it down again. So any runs that you're gonna have is gonna be off and not, I think, is what I'm seeing in practice right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, no doubt. And a pretty full field as well, with us up to over 41 drivers I'm seeing signed up currently. Do you anticipate we'll be able to get those long green flag runs early, or are we gonna have some trouble early on?
I think we might get. It's tough to say. I mean, last season we had some good green flag runs here. We had some good racing here at Vegas. I'm hoping it carries over to this season here. I think the start's going to be easy. Once you get 15 laps in them and the rears start going a little bit, you might see a caution or two. We'll see. We'll hopefully put on a good show for you guys and keep it clean. We'll see.
Well, you definitely can't change those tires too often with only 5 total sets. Do you have a plan for those?
Just, obviously I think we got stages 40, 40, 70 tonight, so changing it up a little bit with where we do stages, just managing them, maybe saving that last set for maybe a set or two at the tail end of the race, just in case we get a couple late race cautions and have a good set underneath us with under 30 to go would be nice. We'll see.
We'll keep an eye out for you and see if you've got those fresh bits of rubber to put underneath you. Good luck on today's race.
I appreciate it, guys. Hopefully I'll be talking to you. It's the first time I've been able to talk to you guys all season, so hopefully it'll be at the tail end of the race tonight.
Absolutely. It certainly seems like Steven Stempien is on a good path with practice here. And then up next, we've got James Kunkel as well with the best finish so far of 13th this season. James, welcome up to the booth. We just heard from Steven Stempien saying that he's expecting things to go pretty well based on the track record we've had so far this season. What are your anticipation in terms of cautions and how the early race is going to go?
I expect the first 2 stages will be mainly clean, typical of real life NASCAR, so to speak. And then, the third stage, we have a tendency to get a little crazy. So, but Vegas is typically one of our better tracks here in this league. So I would expect good, clean racing for the first 2/3 of the race. And who knows what last third will bring.
He mentioned that he didn't feel all that strong at the start of the season. You've obviously had a bit of struggles as well, but did great at Richmond. How much of that do you feel is going to transfer? Because I don't know that I'd count those two as Richmond and Las Vegas is sharing a whole lot.
No, well, first off, the opening race of Atlanta, it went great until it didn't go great after the checker flag had flown. But saving tires is not my strong suit, so therefore I have to thrive more in the 10 to 20 lap runs. So selfishly, I hope we go that way, but I don't expect it, and we'll just have to make the best of what we have. I like Vegas. It's a fun track. I like the higher banked, 1.5 mile, bigger tracks. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't looking forward to Talladega next week, but like I said, I like Vegas, and I hope we do well tonight.
I hope so as well. What's the ultimate goal for the season, honestly? Is there maybe like a top 20, top 10 in points? What do you think you can do?
Well, I mean, obviously the main goal is to stay clean, and you never know what can happen. You can maybe sneak in the back of the playoffs. For someone like myself who's, to be quite frank, I'm not a threat to win week in, week out. So, I had to look forward to those Atlantas, Talladegas, Daytonas, and maybe sneak a win in, and that's what hurts so much about that opening week. But if you just stay clean, you can always get top 15s, and who knows? I think last I looked, we were like 23rd in points, and let's get that top 16 mark, and with some good cleans, keep the car clean out of trouble. Who knows what can happen?
Well, best of luck once again, and we hope that we'll get to chat with you in good circumstances tonight.
Absolutely. Real quick before I go, I want to send well wishes to Warren. This is the second week in a row we've missed him, and we're here all thinking about him. So hopefully he's back next week at Talladega drafting with us.
Yeah, best wishes from us as well. That's James Kunkel, excuse me, that we were just chatting with here before we go to the race. Qualifying is going to begin shortly. Before we get to that, DJ, why don't we take a glance at the track as well? Introduce us to Las Vegas.
Well, there, as you can see, it is a 1.5 mile sort of cookie cutter D-oval as it runs, banking at about 20 degrees around these corners. So that's going to be pretty aggressively average when it comes to banking around these 1.5 mile ovals. It's going to be pretty similar going through 1 and 2 as it is through 3 and 4, pretty much flat out in these next-gen stock cars. But as we said, drafting is going to be a big, huge play here. Momentum's going to be absolutely mega, and look for that second, maybe even third line to develop before all is said and done.
Yeah, I'm eager to see exactly how the racing is going to go out here, especially, like I said, with it cooling off going into the night. Now, the race is going to be 130 laps, as you heard mentioned by one of the drivers earlier, and the stages will be split by 40, 30, and 60 each. Now, remember, they will not have cautions during those. It will continue on through on those stages. They also have 3 green-white checkered attempts that they can have at the end of the race if they find themselves getting a late yellow. After that, they're just going to have to finish under yellow if they can't manage to get it started beyond that. No fast repairs and also a fixed setup. So everybody's running the same thing. And it's all down to the driver to try and find some pace at a track like this, DJ, where, like you said, there are so many lines that could be run. It's going to be fascinating to see who can try and make it work the best.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see as we actually tick over into qualifying right now. 2 laps to be able to put that good time down as we watch on board here with Parker Bland doing a little bit of weaving to get those tires up to temperature as he goes there. We take a look at a couple of the other drivers getting ready to work their way around here. But as we said, the big crucial thing going to be about tire management here.
No doubt. Oh, and was he trying to warm up the tires? He almost spun it into pit lane there briefly, did Parker. I guess tire temp is going to be important as well on qualifying. I would have thought with how fast this track is, just simply getting the momentum up would be much more important, but he was wiggling about even as he crossed the line to start his first flyer. So this is definitely not going to be the money lap here on the first time around.
No, Joe, I think the second lap's going to be the money lap. And let's keep an eye here on board with Bland. Yep, he's going to do exactly what I thought he was going to do. Run that car high up in the third groove around 3 and 4 rather. And that's going to allow for him to keep up as max speed as possible. He's going to then cut down over the apron and watch him to hug the white line on this lap. This is going to be the money lap.
Here it is, down to the very bottom of the circuit, trying to open up the corner as much as he can. Onto the back stretch, looking nice and smooth. I expect this to be pretty small margins between the drivers as we start to get our first times in. Miller currently has the provisional pole there, Justin, up at the top, and that's into the outside wall. Well, Bland is definitely not going to get a time at all. He'll have to start from the back of the field.
Oh, that's going to be an absolute nullification of his lap there, and that's really going to hurt him. We jump back here to check out Wyatt Brackett, see what he is able to do as times continue to work their way down onto the board.
Brackett in the number 30 is just going to start his first flying lap, so this is his out lap currently. He'll cross the line, not seeing a whole bunch of tire heating out of him here, and that lap actually, oh, that was his flying lap, and that was deleted. Interesting stuff there for the number 30. He'll carry on, try to see if he can make this second one. He also brushes the wall. That's the second driver we've watched that's going to be sent to the back of the field.
All right, Joe, so that's telling me to remember we have a fixed setup here in this series, and what that's really indicating to me is that it is tight coming off of the corners and wants to push up the track a little bit as we watch Dakota Curtis having the exact same problem. These drivers are just being a little bit too greedy with throttle. I think you've got to lift a little bit coming through these corners.
This is not what I was expecting at all, as Judd Danielson here in the 85 comes around 1 and 2 onto the backstretch himself. Is he going to be able to keep it out of the wall? Yep, just brings it right up to it. We only have 11 drivers that have set a lap so far in this qualifying session. Judd just riding the high line through 3 and 4. Is this going to be a set time, or is he on an outlap? Now, I don't believe he was on an outlap. This should be a set time, and it's a 30.547. That will jump him up into 8th.
That'll jump him up into 8th, but then here comes the money lap. If he's able to hug this car down to that white line, be able to get a really good line, keep it off of the wall, it looks like he's able to do that coming onto the Nellis straightaway. That's the back straight around this circuit. Now he's going to dive it down into 3 and hope he's going to be able to keep this car pinned down and not brush up the wall too much. Looks like he's got it.
Finally, we get to follow a driver that's actually going to set a lap here, 30.2. And 291, actually, that's going to put him on the front row behind Dakota Wilson by 0.06 of a second. And it's another 0.06 down to Justin Erb, who's tied with Curtis Kelly. So top of the field, looking mighty snug.
Yeah, everybody very, very close here. A lot of what you'd expect for some good mile-and-a-half oval racing as Ross Harlow is now going to bring the car across the line. Not sure if Ross is starting on a flying lap here or if this is a flying lap indeed. I think this is his first flying lap as you see him kind of hug that outside wall, try to keep up as much speed as possible.
Actually up to about 16 drivers that have now set a time out there. but it seems a fair number of them are unfortunately not going to be able to do so. How many more will we see be able to put one on the board as he exits turn 4? Harlow down to the bottom of the line. Again, not the one we're expecting he'll be banking on. That's a 30.7. That's still good enough for 14th as Kip Easley also just jumped himself up tonight. That Schoonover just went to 3rd.
Oh, good run there for Schoonover, that number 9 machine up into good position as we continue to watch Ross Harlow here coming down into 3 and 4. That may have been a little bit of an early turn in there, Joe, but let's see if he's able to gather the car up on corner exit. Oh, he's going to make contact there with the outside wall. That's his lap done.
With a shake of his head, he knew that it was no good, so he'll be no better than 16th as it stands right now. We're going to switch over to Richard Swavely in the meantime. Number 32 coming across. Let's see what he can manage here as he's not set a time yet. And it looks like that is going to put him up into 16th. So Richard Swavely in the number 32. His first lap at least gets one down. He'll be just ahead of Ross Harlow, who we're just watching. Now we're going to see what his second lap holds.
All right, good hug of the line there, coming down through 3. Now on the exit of 4, he's got to keep it down off the wall. That may have cost him a little bit of speed with as much as he tried to fight the car but going, but that is going to be across the line. That looks like it'll be a good lap there for him.
That'll just jump him up to 15th. Zach Wilson just went onto the front row himself. P2 for the number 51. Stempien, who we were talking to a little bit earlier, as he is currently sitting in 8th place, is on his second lap now. First one was a 30.380. That's pretty good if that's his first lap.
Yeah, if that's his first lap, that is very, very quick. That means he's going to be able to carry a lot of speed here on this second lap as well. Let's see how well he's able to keep it up.
Looking like he might improve just slightly here. Let's see what it is. 30.251, just a little bit quicker. Well, even that tiny little improvement is up to 3rd here for Steven Stempien. Excellent showing from him. See if he can finally get himself a podium here today with that one. Logan Sturgeon, in the meantime, down in the number 26 machine. Carrying on from currently, I don't see him on the board. Where is he currently?
I'm not sure if he's set a time here quite yet, Joe. At least he's not set one up in the top 20. He's down in 22nd, we are hearing at this point. So this is going to be his fast lap here to see where he is going to be able to place himself out.
A very intense stare. My goodness, he is serious about this one. Second lap. Can he go into the top 20 as he exits turn 4? Keeps it out of the wall. Back down to the bottom, all the way across the apron. 30.260. That's a top 10. That'll be P6 for him.
Good run there for him. Also seeing Gary Sexton come in on the board. We weren't sure if Gary was going to be here tonight or not, but he has been able to show up as we ride on board with Justin Winters. Good line there coming out of the final corner, able to keep it off the wall. A little bit of clip of the grass there potentially as Winters crosses over the line.
That will jump him up into 29th. First lap of 30.790. I see roughly about 4 other cars that are still out on the circuit, circulating right now. And we've got a minute and a half left to go. Now, the laps go by quick, so that they should have time to set at least one more, maybe a couple if they need. But Winters, will he improve? He crosses the line, 30.276. Excellent lap. That'll jump him up into P10.
And he'll be up to P10 there at this point. We jump on board now with the number 46 machine, bringing that car around here to see what they're able to get. Little bit of a wiggle coming off the 2, but able to keep it under control there as now they dive into turn 3.
Also, Colin Forrester now takes that second place. It's been a popular spot, but nobody's been able to best Mario Miranda for some time now. As Joseph Mahar crosses the line, and 30.471 is a very good first lap. Since most were doing in the 30.7s. Will the second be able to jump him even higher? He's in 25th right now. Miranda coming off of 2 wins so far already this season.
Yeah, 2 wins already on this season and on 2 kind of different tracks. They're talking about COTA and the Bristol Dirt Circuit, so we'll have to see how he's able to do here. Currently in pole position with that 32nd flat. As here's Mahar coming across the line. Let's see if he's got a little bit of a challenge.
30.387. Not the greatest improvements there at the end of it. And we've got, I think, that's it. That is the last car, Joseph Mahar. So our grid is set here for qualifying. On the front row, Mario Miranda and Colin Forrester are going to be starting with Lawson Peel in third and Ray Rogers in P4. After that, you've got Austin Shoemaker in the fifth position and Dakota Wilson starting sixth. Next row sees Garrett Brown on the inside, and Alex Muscarella will be starting from eighth. Steven Stempian got shuffled down to ninth in the end, and Brandon Banks will round out your top 10.
Starting off in 11th, it's going to be Logan Sturgeon with Zach Wilson to his outside. Then as we move out into row 7, it'll be Justin Winters and Judd Danielson in row 7. Row 8 will be Casey Knighton and Bill Schoonover there in that. And then to the inside of row number 9, it's going to be Justin Irby, followed by Curtis Kelly to his outside. Lining up 19th, it'll be Ryan Kendall, and then Chuck Phelps rounds out your top 20.
Joe Sanchez starts in 21st, and Joseph Mahar was the last car across the line in qualifying to get 22nd. Chris Shoemaker starts 23rd, followed by Sean Kalist. Next row, you've got Chris Brogar, P25, Justin Miller in 26. Kip Easley starts in the 27th position today. He'll have Jesse Whittington next to him. Isaac Mock will start from 29th, and then it's Richard Swavely in 30th.
31st position is going to be Austin Reedy, followed by Aaron Adcock there. And then in row 17, it will be Ross Harlow and Travis Stevens. Row 18, as we continue to work our way on back, will be Dustin Rivas. Brad Fulham will be starting to his outside. Then as we work back into row 19, it's Gary Sexton and Parker Bland in row 19. Row 20 will be Wyatt Brackett, and Dakota Curtis rounds out your top 40.
James Kunkel did not set a lap time, unfortunately, after we chatted with him. In fact, the drivers that we talked about being able to set a lap time or not, well, I guess we saw 2 of the 3 that failed to do so. So just sheer bad luck on our part on that one. Hopefully we'll get a little bit better racing once we get underway here, and don't have to worry about that understeer too badly. But everybody's in the same boat with it being that same fixed setup for them all. Thanks for joining us here. I'm Joe Peak with DJ Clark this evening for round 5 of this series. And after a wide variety of circuits, we come back to more traditional fare here tonight and racing under the lights, DJ.
Yeah, and those lights are going to add a big question mark around here, namely because it's going to work to keep those tire temperatures down a little bit. But still, as you mentioned off the top, Joe, we're racing in the desert, so those tire temperatures are still going to be pretty hot.
Yeah, and this track is known for chewing them up pretty well, especially with all the high speeds that they take around here. As the pace car should be peeling off shortly, allowing Miranda to have control of the field in that number 99 there at the bottom. Will he be able to streak away, or is the slipstream going to be a little bit too much to escape here at the start? We should see a fair bit of pack racing at this place, and will he be able to run away from that? Pace car is in, and the green flag is out. Miranda is on the throttle as we head down into turn 1, being chased by Forrester and Peel.
All right, here they go as they start to spread things out a little bit there. You see some drivers maybe thinking about trying to make that third lane work up on the track, but drivers certainly making that second lane work as they fan out coming down the Nellis Straight. Almost contact there with the outside wall.
But I saw at least one of them definitely brush it on the exit as they at least make it down in turn 3 without a yellow. So it looks like we're all good there. Just a light little touch with the Armco. And they'll complete lap 1. Miranda will lead that first lap. Forrester just behind him in second. Rogers in a battle with Peel, though, for that P3 side by side.
Yeah, they're going to be side by side here, giving each other plenty of space early on. Not one to really implement that side draft here at this point. And I like there what Brown's doing in the background, just kind of lurking there, not putting on too much of an attack, just holding on and waiting to see what'll happen in front of him.
So now they get single file essentially for the top 5. Looks like Shoemaker side by side with Wilson as well back there in 6th spot. They've got Steven Stempian in amongst them, Muscarella as well, as once again they file back into turn 1. And there's that fanning out that we were talking about. Everybody kind of picking their own line. High side, though, looking like it's working extremely well for the 78 of Wilson.
Yeah, it's working a treat there as we also see some movement down around the inside as well. This is all just going to be about, whoa, it's Jesse Whittington there getting a little bit rough and tumble, trying to force his way forward from a little bit farther back in the field. But this is all just going to be about where your car is feeling, what it's going to be feeling most comfortable doing, and how you're going to feel it driving around this circuit.
That was a pretty big run, so I guess you got to be careful about what you do with that speed there. As we come off the banking onto the back stretch, looks like it's going to be a nice little tow for the number 11 of Ray Rogers. And then he switches up to the high side once again. In fact, he's starting to gain on Miranda. Could he be thinking about going for the lead here?
Well, he could be. He's certainly going to have a little bit of a look around the outside there as we take a look out the back of Mario Miranda's machine. Still some pressure from Forrester coming from behind, but Rogers, I think, is fully going for that move. He's not already clear by this point. Yes, he is. The number 11 up to the point of the field.
All right, so he's going to try and now lead the way for this group. Lawson Peel up on the high side in the 12, seeing if he could also overtake on Miranda. It worked for the number 11. Why not for the 12 as well? They're also still being followed by Forrester back there in the tide, number 31. And yeah, that high line does look like it's relatively effective. He's not past him yet. Almost weaved his way down into that number 99. And now onto the back stretch. Is this going to be job done? No, DJ, it doesn't look like it.
No, I think he may need a little bit more help coming down these straightaways, and he's going to get it in the form there of Forrester, who was able to tuck up behind him and take the air off of that rear wing. Now, that's really going to help him down the straightaways. It'll hurt him, obviously, coming through the corners, but a really, really good move there. I think Forrester recognized a quick horse, wanted to jump up to it and try to pull that around. This
makes me wonder, seeing Miranda drop back a little bit, though. Is this maybe him trying to save those tires somewhat as we hop on board with Zach Wilson now in 8th position. Number 51 currently chasing on the 81 of Steven Stempien just in front of us.
Yeah, he's going to be riding on that high line here at this point. That's Brown and Stempien up in front of him, trying to be able to hold his way around there. Now, this is where that momentum's going to come back and favor the cars on the outside lane. When you get on the straightaways, you're able to carry more terminal speed up around that high lane. You don't have to nearly scrub as much speed off as you do running low. It is obviously a little bit different that it's going to be the longer distance going from point A to point B.
A little bit of weaving down the back stretch, but for the most part, front of the pack is getting very, very single file now. Someone going up to the high side once again, trying that move. That looks like Dakota Wilson in the 78 yet again, who is behind actually Zach Wilson in that 51. Just in front, we're riding with Justin Winters, though, with number 88 there behind them. He's also going to try that high line. And I was going to say 16 thinks he could get in front, but then decides against it last moment.
Yeah, I think he saw that big run coming, and he didn't want to get in the way of that as the 16 of Brown now going to be forced down to the inside, going to lose that position out to Winters at this point, so that's going to be a good position there made for him. Now going to set his sights up the road on Wilson, and Wilson see what he's going to be able to do.
Well, for all the single file racing we saw, now it switches back to 2 wide once again. Take your pick on who takes what line, what lap, because it's going to vary itself up tonight as we now hop on board, looking back from Forrester in the number 31, riding in 2nd place, just ahead of Lawson Peel there. And big run on him as, we got our first yellow. And it looks like Kalist involved in that one. A couple others starting to get collected after the fact, unfortunately. Also see Jesse Whittington look like he was involved.
Yeah, and it looks like here that this may have started as a relatively single car incident and then others getting collected in it as we take a look at Kalist here in that white, red, and blue number 43 machine. Coming off of turn 4, let's take a look at this car a little bit squirrely in front of him. No, I stand corrected. That was a multi-car incident. The 94 getting very, very slideways.
And it was the 6 of Dustin Reeves who kind of hit it after the fact. Gary Sexton, I also see having to recover. So he got caught up somehow. We're going to watch from Progar.
And there you can see that 94. I'm not sure exactly what that drift down to the inside was. I think that was just trying to collect the car a little bit because the rear end started to break away a little bit coming out of there at turn 4. And he just had to be able to get that car back up under him, and really moving down the track was the only way to do that. And then these poor passengers there behind, including Gary Sexton, just having to dive on the binders to get out of the way.
Let's see, sees a little puff of smoke, and cars are slowing down, and just gets tipped, unfortunately. So another one of those drivers that just late in the day just couldn't avoid it all and got collected up. Hopefully not too hard of a hit. I do see Justin Miller and Dustin Reeves are in pit lane, looks like taking some repairs, although Justin is already back out, so he'll be able to carry on. But yeah, a car getting loose when 3 wide just usually doesn't go all that well. Also, Casey Knighton is pitting in. He was in the middle of the pack. That's a bit of a strange call.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a strange call there for him. I'm not sure why he wants to come down there, maybe to just get some fuel, put himself on off-cycle strategy, but I'm not sure.
Well, while we've got the yellow, I do believe we have Jesse Whittington ready to talk to us. He's sitting in pit lane. He's the number 94. Let's see.
Just got loose.
We can chat with him. Jesse, sorry to interrupt who you're talking to there, but 94 and taking some repairs. What's the assessment?
Surprisingly, it's not very bad. I was just down talking with Sean. I've already apologized to Casey. I don't know what was going on. All I saw was Casey's car was jumping all over the place on my screen, and it jumped from the wall down to about halfway down the track and then back up to the wall, and then all of a sudden I was loose on the outside of Sean, and I jumped in there as quick as I could to apologize to Sean about it. So
during qualifying, the car looked massively understeery for a lot of guys. How's it feel now that it's in the race?
Oddly enough, it really doesn't feel that horrible. It's just about trying to back up the corners and not overdo it. I mean, so it does feel better than it did in qualifying, though, which is odd.
Well, I'm glad it's improving. Hopefully that'll help you put on a good show and climb back through. Lights are out, so we're going to let you go.
All right, bud, I appreciate it, and thank you to Sheriff Strafe and Strafe Nation in the chat right now.
That's Jesse Whittington, who has been able to return to the track. He's currently running in 38th. Catch up to the back of the field, DJ, and he'll try again. We're still very early, so he's got some time to make it up.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time to try to make it up here. I don't think he lost a lap, which is going to be absolutely crucial. The one thing he's going to have to be aware of, though, is remember, no free repairs for any of these drivers. So if you want to get something fixed, you have got to sit there and have your virtual pit crews beat and bang on these cars to get them back up to fighting shape.
Exactly. Well, this time it's going to be Ray Rogers who starts from the pole. Miranda's going to begin behind him. Actually, excuse me, Miranda's starting in 4th, not 3rd. So he'll be on the outside, it looks like. And then Forrester will be in 2nd there on that front row as the pace car getting ready to peel away. And he'll give Rogers control of the field. There it goes. Looking for the green from the flag stand. And he's waiting patiently. There it is. Green flag is out. And Ray Rogers is on the throttle. They all start to slowly pick up speed here at Las Vegas. We still have 41 cars out on the circuit.
Yeah, we still do, and we've still got all of them that are really up for potential here, as it looked like Rogers didn't have the best second part of that start. Peel really starting to put some pressure onto him here down to the inside. Let's see if he's able to get the advantage as they come into 3, and that's exactly what's going to happen here for that number 12 machine, but now the momentum comes back to favor Rogers.
But looks like for Peel, he's going to have extra trouble because here comes Miranda, who likes that high line himself. He's going to go up there, way up there to the 3rd lane, and then come back down, it looks like, mid-corner as the 12 wants to drift up. But no, the 99 is there, taking it away. Behind them, 31 of Forrester. Just kind of give and watch amongst them. Once again, 2 by 2 through much of the pack. They slide through turns 3 and 4.
They slide through turns 3 and 4. Everybody's still able to keep things relatively together here at this point as they go. No real problems there as they continue to work their way on through. Looking good here from all of these lines.
Rogers looking excellent out front. He's pulled a bit of a gap. Not enough that I think he can run away quite yet. We're going to watch from Garrett Brown, currently running in the 10th position, so towards the top of the pack. to his outside. Joe Sanchez is just behind us out of view, but up in front, that's the pair of Kelly and Winters that we see.
Yeah, and they're going to be working a little bit together, trying to see if they're able to do anything here. But now we're starting to see a pretty defined high lane start to play itself in there with Peel working up there. Everybody's going to slot their way up into that high line coming down the Nellis straight. Now let's see where they're going to fan themselves out, and that's going to leave Peel a little bit of an opportunity to keep running that speed up on the high lane.
That's a good point. Yeah, that high line seems to really be kind of a big factor here today. So Peel going to try and use that to good effect. And we've seen a couple big movers already. A few cars up 10. Curtis Kelly, one of those. Joe Sanchez as well, up 10 positions. A little farther back, Ross Harlow, who we saw fail to set a time, or set a poor time, rather, I should say, is up 14 positions already. As we ride on board with Joe Sanchez now here, just watching as he looks to see which line is going to be moving a little bit quicker. The 88 of Justin Winters just in front of him, trying to get some clean air on that nose.
Yeah, trying to get a little bit of clean air. That's really what you want for two major reasons. Number one, it's going to help out the handling of the car. As the more clean air you get onto the front of it, the better grip it's going to get at the front. The other part of it is that we've got to remember here, Joe, is that air temperatures are still pretty hot. So these drivers are going to have to be searching around for a little bit of cool air to put in their radiators to make sure these cars don't expire by race's end.
I think Curtis Kelly got a little bit of a bump side to side, and so he's going backwards a little bit. That was on the back stretch. They're 3 wide right now. He's on the bottom, trying not to drift into the 7 of Chris Progar just above him. And now they're going to be able to get back 2 wide once again. So now to Justin Erb in 18th position, back down here. He's got a car to his high side as well. No, excuse me, he's behind a 2 wide situation here. Ryan Kendall there in the number 68, and then down at the bottom, that's Logan Sturgeon.
Yeah, and he's going to just try to follow the lane that's got a little bit more speed here. When you're farther back in the pack like this, Joe, beggars can't be choosers. You've just got to go with the lane that looks like they have more momentum, more speed to be able to get your way around, and that's where you're going to be putting your nose to try to get your way forward.
Already halfway through the first stage. So it's ticking off pretty quickly. We've just had the 1 caution so far, and it took them a bit before that even happened. It does seem like they're getting it going at a good pace here now. They've got this second stint underway. Off of the backstretch, we see the front of the pack. Rogers still at the point, and actually he has stretched away. It's about 0.7 of a second. It's not looking good for those behind.
No, it's really not. Ray Rogers here doing a fantastic job to be able to pull away from Miranda and Forrester, and I think part of that problem is if we look at the lines they're running, they're not exactly working together. As Justin Winters now falling down through the order here, slow coming through the oval.
I'm going to check and see if I can figure out what happened. I think it just got loose coming off of 4. Yeah, he just had to chase it, and thankfully did not snap back into the pack, but like you said, cost him a lot of momentum. He's all the way down to 21st now.
And that's exactly what can happen around here. Even with just a millisecond of a lift, the speeds that you're carrying around this Las Vegas Motor Speedway are such that if you lift off for just a little bit, it's going to find yourself falling down through the order. You're going to have to regather back up everything and try again here shortly.
Hopping on board with Banks. He's got single file with Ryan Kendall just behind him. That's the 71 of Kelly, along with Judd Danielson. I do like what I'm seeing in terms of the racing so far. That was another big slide there. That was Judd at the bottom that we saw getting kind of sideways off of turn 4. One of the cars are now doing kind of a push-loose thing.
Yeah, they very well could be. Let's keep an eye on the leaders as they come off of the line here. Yeah, there's a little bit of it in there at the back from that black and white machine that we saw. I think that's exactly what's starting to go on here, Joe. We're just getting a little bit snapped loose in this fixed setup.
Well, that's going to make things fun if they're already having this happen. We're only 26 laps in with a yellow to cool the tires down on top of it. So really got to manage that car coming off the corner. Up at the front of this pack, Forrester leads Stempien, leads Miranda, but that's second, third, and fourth as a reminder, because you can't even see Ray Rogers on your screen anymore.
No, you can't. He is just absolutely checked out at the front of this field, and they've got to watch out. Because if they're not careful, that gap's already up to about 1.1 seconds. They could lose draft touch here with the leader.
Not sure how he's been able to break away quite this well. The 11 certainly has something sneaky under his belt there that nobody else seems to be able to replicate. So down at the bottom, the 31 of Forrester trying to keep his speed up, but Stempien's going to be able to outgun him off the corner. Miranda's going to follow him down to turn 3.
Going to follow him down into the corner there as they go. The 99 rather, trying to run that high lane, but he's going to find himself boxed in there a little bit from Stempien as Forrester continues to try to work on that low line. And I like what I'm seeing here out of Peel from behind. Peel just hunting around, trying to find that good angle. As now we're going to jump back here, take a look on board with Ross Harlow. Remember, Ross had a very rough qualifying, and he looks like he's starting to find his feet here as this race goes along.
Up 18 positions. Hardest charger so far in this race. Big checkup in front of him as drivers have to get out of it just a little bit here. But now he's going to be able to carry that speed along forward. How far up can he go is the question. Joe Sanchez is up 15 as well, and he's up in 6th place. So he's not the only one that's making big inroads in this race. Off the corner, that was a little squiggly there from Stempien.
Yeah, it certainly was. He really had to chase the car up and down there to make sure everything was under control, but he's lucky he was able to walk away with that. And don't look now, but Sanchez and Brown both trying to take advantage of him. I wonder if that was the problem. He's got somebody else coming into his room there, maybe distracted him for a moment.
Exactly. Well, he's hopefully going to be able to refocus himself here as we ride on board with Stampede. He falls down to 7th place. Momentum definitely left him with that tiny little bobble that he had there on the back stretch. But again, it's a long race. There's still plenty to go. Main thing, though, I imagine, considering we've only got 10 laps until we reach the end of stage 1, he probably wants those points, and he loses another place, unfortunately. At this rate, it's not looking good.
Yeah, that was Muscarello that was able to get by him. Now it's going to be the 51 of Wilson trying to make a move there up on the high side as they come through 1 and 2 right now. And I'm going to make a prediction here that that position is going to be Wilson's before everything is said and done. Jump back here with Judd Danielson, the latest to try to put Stempien a little bit down here. Judd's going to have a look down to the inside, but I think there Stempien's going to be able to carry speed just enough around to prevent any look down to the inside.
Does he finally stop the bleeding here? Let's hope so. Because that was a lot of spots going from, gosh, he was in 2nd, wasn't he? And he's all the way back to 9th, and that was in the matter of just a couple laps.
Yeah, but I mean, that is what momentum means around this Las Vegas circuit. I'm telling you, you've got to stay in it the entire way through here. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a real hard position.
Back up at the front, Forrester, Miranda, Peel, your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th drivers. I wonder, well, they are catching Rogers a little bit. It's down to 9/10 of a second. I kind of wondered if maybe Rogers was trying to play the rabbit in this, thinking if I can stay up here long enough to take the stage win, maybe take an early stop, get some fresh rubber, and get back out. But we'll see. He might not get the yellow that he needs for that immediately after, and then he could wind up suffering. We're going to ride with Miranda in the meantime at the number 99.
And I like what I'm seeing here on Miranda. He's driving about a lane and a half up from that 31 of Forrester, just making sure that there's plenty of good, cool air coming into the front of that car, making sure that the engine temperatures are going to stay down, and then also running a little bit higher up here to make sure he's going to get the right amount of turn in that he wants on those front tires. You saw a big moment of snap oversteer there mid-corner, but he caught it, was able to keep it up underneath him, and it didn't look like he lost any time in the process.
Absolutely, and it's now down to 0.6 of a second to Rogers. I'm starting to think my theory is looking a little bit more likely. He's being caught hand over fist by this pack.
Yeah, he really is. I think he burned his stuff up here, Joe. I think you called it absolutely perfectly.
So coming around out of 1 and 2, down to only half a second. As we got that side-by-side battle between Miranda and Peel. Peel, is he going to try and switch back to single file? No, he's just looking underneath now, chopping down. Miranda covers that inside line.
Yeah, Miranda was wise to see it coming, but they've got to be careful about that little bit of back and forth. If they start fighting a little bit too much, that's going to be another green flag here for Rogers to continue to pull away at the front of this field.
Off and onto the back stretch. Ooh, still a side-by-side battle, and the 12 really wanted to drift up, but he didn't have the clear from his spotter. He's going to have to stay low. Ahead of him, just above him rather, Mario Miranda takes away that top line, can't drift up, coming off of turn 4 as well. Almost tries to chop down, just about clear, although he leaves a lane for that number 12. Close battling between this pair.
Yeah, very, very close battling. Neither Miranda nor Peel want to give this up. It looks like advantage is going to favor back here to Miranda up on that high lane. Peel's going to slot back into line, as it looks like the first about 6 or 7 drivers here or so, Joe, are going to be in single file.
Absolutely, and apologies. I had, of course, remembered incorrectly. They do have a caution after the 10th driver crosses here for the stage. So they are going to get a little bit of relief, and Rogers' plan looks like it may actually work out, because they're coming up to lap 40 now. Now remember, I believe it's at the end of lap 40 that they will throw that.
Yes, it is, Joe. So that does mean that we will be expecting that yellow flag here for stage 1 to be thrown at the end of this lap. Rogers has just got to hold on here for another one circuit around this Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Can he hold on? Because it's down to 0.3 of a second. Oh, it was at this lap. So at the beginning of lap 40 that they're going to throw this one. Rogers saved by the bell.
Yeah, very, very much so. Rogers is a very lucky driver there, as I think his tires may have been out a little bit. But the interesting thing now that's going to come up, Joe, is we, of course, have a shorter second stage. It's only 30 laps. And how is that going to change the calculus? And is that maybe going to play into the hands here of Rogers?
Yeah, I got to think it does, because, yeah, like you said, he played it to perfection. He doesn't need those tires anymore. He used them exactly how much he needed and wound up taking the most of those stage points. So it was Rogers, Forrester, Miranda, Peel, Sanchez, Wilson, Muscarella, Brown, Stympian, and Danielson, your top 10 for that stage as they catch up to the pace car. And I got to think this is going to be a very simple call for everybody, that they're going to be pitting in. Now, sadly, we haven't had Dustin Reeves back out there for about 13 minutes, I'm seeing. I'm not sure if we missed an accident for him or if that was from the last caution.
I think it was from the last caution. I didn't see anything with him out on track, Joe, so I wonder if he maybe came out, realized the car wasn't perfectly up to snuff, and has just been back down in pit lane trying to get all those optional repairs done on the car.
It's a real shame if that's the case. Well, pitting in, whoa, and trying to attack the cones there. I thought maybe for a second that Rogers was going to get rear-ended by Colin, and thankfully there was no contact between them. Anybody doing anything weird here on the stops? I can't imagine they would. That just seems like it'd be bad decision written all over it. As we watch the 11 try to hit his marks, and it looks like he did get to him. Nobody stays out. Everybody is in.
Yeah, that's the right call there, Joe. I think there's a couple of drivers that may have only taken 2 tires here, or maybe just gotten a splash and dash as somebody drives on by. But the call definitely here is, I think, going to be tires and fuel all the way through. That was
Progar. He missed his pit stall, unfortunately. So he's going to have to cycle back around. He'll get sent to the back of the field just due to the way that falls. But I'm checking if anybody took 2 tires, and I don't see any at this stage. I think that was everyone taking the safe call. Casey Knighton is taking a few repairs, but that's going to take us to a quick break. We're going to come back with stage number 2. Stick around, because we have more to come here for the Kalist Synthetics 200.
Janice.
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. We've been doing it for American racing for over 50 years. Fuel your best.
Fuller. Yeah. Needed F-150 for Smith build.
Got it.
Yesterday.
I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done.
How's he do it?
I can search nationwide. Even those classified sites. Auto Tempest. All the cars, one search. That's how I do it.
There is Max Papis in the Ferrari. As great a race as Ferrari has ever won.
Steering wheel for me has always been a sensitive spot. You know, there's a whole experience there that we're all trying to refine. Max Pappas, he asked me one day, he said, what can I do in a wheel? I said, well, with the new.
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. We've been doing it for American racing for over 50 years. Fuel your best.
Welcome back to the Kalist Synthetics 200 at Las Vegas, and we are currently under yellow after the first stage is through. Interesting to note, of those first round of pit stops, Ray Rogers lost the lead and is down to fourth. Colin Forster was the first out of pit lane. Miranda and Peel are also ahead of the former leader, but we saw him come up from the back before and managed to get to the front. So, in fact, he started from fourth place. So this is starting to look like history repeating itself all over again.
It's deja vu all over again, Joe, as the great Yogi Berra said. And let's see here, though, what these drivers have up their sleeves, as Rogers may be able to get that run here again in this shortened second stage.
Pace car is in, and the green flag is out as they now take off down into turn one once again. Very, very short stage on this one, so the drivers will not have to save the tires nearly as much. Who will this behoove? And will we see Rogers pull the same thing all over again? Lawson Peel on the bottom with Colin Forster. And then unfortunately for Miranda, he's got no place to go there on the top briefly.
Yeah, he had a great run there, but just kind of had to check his momentum up a little bit because Forster was going to be right in his way, as now Peel's going to make a move down to the inside. There you see Miranda thinking about trying to make this 3 wide. He is going to make it 3 wide.
For the lead down into the first corner once again, but it looks like the bottom side has the quick movement here in the early laps. Peel is going to pull back to the front. Forster now back underneath of Miranda, and he's going to take P2 right back. This is a little feisty for the start.
Yeah, it certainly is, and this is in comparison to a relatively calm, cool, and collected opening stage that we saw here from these drivers. So I think this shortened stage definitely tightening the screws here on a lot of these drivers. They know it's go time.
Absolutely. So don't need to save these tires. You got to push as hard as you can. We've also lost Travis Stevens for some reason at this stage. Dustin Reeves has been in and out of the pits frequently. He's back in once again, taking some repairs. Ross Harlow up to 8th position now. He has gained 25 out there today. He is not letting a poor qualifying slow him down.
No, he's certainly not. Without a doubt here, one of our biggest movers and shakers in the field, trying to come up to the outside, the inside there of Muscarello right now, just slowly but surely working his way forward. He's going to find it a little bit more difficult, I think, to get these final couple of positions to get himself up to the front of the field. But nevertheless, a great run here for Harlow.
He didn't make it to the top 10 for those bonus points in the stage. But maybe this time, now that he's up to 8th, he should be able to be in the hunt for them in front of him. That got very close between Miranda and Rogers, though.
Yeah, almost banging and bumping there between the two. It looked like the two of them just driving the wheels off of that car. As here they come down into the corner and ride on board with Steven Stympian, who we had a chance to talk to before the race started, obviously. Driving in 8th place right now. He's caught between a little bit of a rock and a hard place as he is very much pinned in there, not only by Harlow and Miranda up ahead of him, by Muscarella up on the high side as well.
Garrett Brown is pitting in for some reason. I saw him pull off to the side and slow. Well, no, he's not pitting in. He's getting back up onto the track. I have no idea what is going on with the number 16 there.
Not entirely sure. Maybe we'll have to send somebody down to pit lane, try to figure out exactly what went wrong. But as of right now, we're going to keep our eyes focused because we've got a little bit of a battle for the lead right now, as Sanchez is starting to involve himself in the conversation.
Austin Peele still holds the point. Like you said, Sanchez is there, and hovering behind him, Forrester is going to try and see if he can involve himself as well. Zach Wilson suddenly is in the mix, and guess who? Ray Rogers, after he dropped back down through a couple places, is right back into P5.
Yeah, he's starting to make this work a little bit more. We ride on board with the number 11 right now. A little bit of a gap between himself and Wilson up ahead right now. But as you can see, coming through the corners, Rogers is able to close that gap down a little bit. Now we're going to take a look to the outside here as they continue to go, trying to get some clean air onto the front of that car.
Up on the high side, Sanchez looking like he is rolling strong. Can he finish the job here through 1 and 2? Car looks fast off the corner. He has got the lead. 12 still keeping just a little bit of an overlap as we ride with Forrester now in the 3rd position. Briefly throws his hand in with the high line, then cuts back down low. Job is still not completely done. Sanchez is still just slight nose ahead of the number 12 as they cross the line, but it does look like Lawson Peele is trying to fight back and fight hard.
Yeah, and Peele's actually going to have the advantage as they dive down into turn 1. He's almost going to be fully clear there of Sanchez, but Sanchez able to roll enough speed up on the high side to keep that threat in place. Now Peele's going to slide up in front of him, and that is move done, but that's going to open up the door here for Forrester down on the inside until Peele shuts the door yet again.
Interesting. Thought that Lawson Peele was going to lose that one, and Sanchez was going to be able to take the top spot away pretty handily, but it has swung back in favor of that number 12. And I can tell you that Rogers is still kind of hovering at the back of this. We got basically 5 cars here at the front, of which Zach Wilson is the 4th in line currently. And as they try and race, it looks like Peele is now going to get them all back in a row so that nobody's trying anything at this point. He just wants a few calm, collected laps so that they can rack some up before we get to the end of the stage.
Yeah, I think that's what he really wants here, but I'll tell you who's not waiting around that. Zach Wilson. Wilson going to look down to the inside there of Forrester, and that's going to be side-by-side coming down out of turn 2. It doesn't look like Wilson's got enough overlap to make this work, but he's certainly made his presence known.
Maybe that's all you need right now, just letting those drivers around you know that you've got the speed and you can use it if you want to. I mentioned it's those top 5 kind of all together. I guess 6 really with Harlow at the back of him. Well, next group here is led by Austin Reedy and Mario Miranda, who has curiously not shown as much pace as I would have thought, but maybe again he's just kind of saving his stuff here early on for later in the race. He is sitting in the 8th position. They've got Logan Sturgeon and Brandon Banks in there as well. And in fact, we're riding on board with Logan Sturgeon.
Yeah, we ride on board with Logan right now. You can see that focus as he tries to battle it out here with Miranda. Miranda down on the inside right now. That's Kelly looking in behind as well, trying to find a little bit of an opportunity. A little bit of side draft here as they come down into turn 1, trying to separate themselves out. And it looks like advantage is going to go to Sturgeon for now, but Miranda's certainly fighting strong down on that low side.
Back onto the back stretch once again. Miranda dropping back just a little bit briefly on the 71 of Curtis Kelly, but ducking down to the bottom, gain some speed back. They get ready to tick off lap 58. This stage is going to go mighty quick here because we've only got 13 more laps till the end of it.
Yeah, it's coming by very, very quickly, and I think even the final stage here, Joe, which will be our longest stage of the night, is still going to be a very, very quick stage if drivers keep driving the way they are.
Absolutely, and still seeing a few that are making me a little concerned coming off of turn 2 there, drifting up a little bit high. Wondering if we will see some of that push start to return, or is the track really coming to the drivers finally? Miranda is getting another good run on the 71. This time, though, he's going to be on the high side.
He's going to try it up high now. Let's see if he's able to get that to play for him a little bit. The high line has been the more dominant line that I would say around here, Joe. It certainly looks like it's been able to carry a lot more, but now we're going to jump back up on board with Ray Rogers as he sort of picks his way up around this gaggle that is the top 4.
I still am keeping my eye on this number 11 here because I wonder if he's going to be a serious threat. Can he make a move as quickly as he wants? Popping up to the high side here, Ross Harlow, also king of overtaking so far in this race, up 27 spots. Is he going to make it 28? He's got great momentum, and the 11 is going to hold tight down to the bottom of him, at least for now, but will the 5 finish it up?
I've got to think that 5 has got some good momentum up on the high side to be able to make this work, and indeed he's going to be clear, I think, by the time they come across the stripe, sliding in front as we now ride on board with Joe Sanchez looking at the back here of Wilson. And look at that, he's poking to the inside. That's Forrester trying to make a little bit of a play.
Oh, but looks like he can't carry the speed as well as Zach Wilson. Instead, in the 51 that gets a great shot off of turn 2. He'll be able to get his nose underneath Joe Sanchez, try to follow in the heels of Lawson Peel. But the fact that he can't bring it up off the corner prevents him from really carrying the momentum. So Sanchez will hold him back, at least for the time being. We watch from the top of Lawson Peel back at the fight.
And I'll tell you what, Lawson is absolutely loving seeing this go on behind him. The more Sanchez, Wilson, Harlow, and Forrester continue to fight with each other, the less he has got to worry about somebody trying to make a big move on him.
Absolutely. If he can just keep that single file there and drift from the bottom to the top, he'll be faster, no doubt, than those behind him. And heard a little bit of chatter from Miranda there, and it looks like things got a little separated. Oh, he made a tiny bit of contact with Logan Sturgeon, apparently, off of turn 2.
All right, so just even the tiniest little bit of contact, that's going to be enough to be able to throw these cars around a little bit, and that's going to really send them out right now as we ride on board with Ray Rogers, still trying to piece his way on through. Harlow's been able to make his way on by, but the next target on the agenda is going to be Forrester right up in front of him.
This is just a massively impressive run through the field for that number 5. Harlow now has Forrester down to the low side, but he's been making quick work of most of the drivers that he's been overtaking thus far in this race. Back from Sanchez, and there you see, that's the 5 coming forward as the number 12 on the bottom is, we're going to go 3 wide, though. Apparently, Ross thinks twice about that and actually gets a little loose.
Yeah, it gets a little bit loose there. That almost got just a little bit sketchy, but was able to keep everything back up under him. 65 laps here that we are working on. This is the halfway point in this race.
Halfway point in the race, but very close to the end of this stage. What about Austin Reedy here? Suddenly becomes a bit of a factor in this battle. He's been a bit anonymous as that got close between Peel and Harlow once again. Excuse me, Harlow, I think, and Wilson, rather, I saw nearly make contact up there.
Yeah, they nearly made contact up there, and that's what you've got to be careful about when you're running this close to one another, is that just those little micro changes that you're going to put into the steering wheel to try to keep the car underneath you, that's going to be enough to be able to throw you into the car to your outside, so you've really got to be hyper aware of just how that car is feeling and how you're going to respond to it.
Drifting way up high. Look at the 5. That's practically a 4th lane. Oh, he gets too loose, though. He flew too close to the sun. He's going to spin. Will he come back on course? He catches it. No yellow. We stay green.
We stay green, and I've got to give massive props there to the number 5, keeping it down underneath the apron there at that point. It's a heartbreak for Harlow, but he did the right thing in keeping that car under the apron and letting us stay green here.
Wow, I was going to say it looked like he was really picking a way high line, and the car just started to go, and unfortunately it snapped. Who was that getting that little bit of a touchdown at the bottom?
I think that may have been Miranda.
We'll watch one more time here. This is from Rogers' perspective. There you see the bobble. And no.
Oh, it was Rogers.
Oh, boy. Hope he didn't get much damage off of that. Where is he sitting currently? He's 10th place. He lost a little bit. He's still going to get a bonus point out of that if he can just hold this spot. But Peel is still fighting with Sanchez up at the very front. And yeah, we should be getting our stage caution here pretty soon. I think 2 more laps.
Yeah, that's when it should be coming out. So the battle for this lead of the race going to get all the more fiercer in these final 2 laps as we draw our way towards the stage caution.
And now suddenly look at Zach Wilson, almost thinking about 3 wide, just about getting in there. Just only takes the air off of Sanchez for a moment, but he keeps hold of it. And behind them, you mentioned Miranda. Well, he's coming on very strong, and there is the caution. That is the end of the stage.
All right, caution out in the stage, caution in the air. You couldn't ask for a better end to that, Joe.
That was great stuff. Now for Harlow, at least he has the stage caution to bring him back into it, but he's going to have to do the exact same thing all over again. You mentioned how we passed the halfway point of the race. Well, hope he can repeat it.
Yeah, I hope he can as well, but we will have to see as drivers are going to bring their way around here, catch up behind the iRacing safety car, and I'm pretty darn sure, Joe, that everybody's going to be coming down into pit lane.
And our top 10 that will get the bonus points: Lawson Peel, Joe Sanchez, Zach Wilson, Mario Miranda, Colin Forrester, Austin Reedy, Brandon Banks, Steven Stempien, Wyatt Brackett, and Ray Rogers. He did wind up at least within the top 10, although just barely. Probably not as high up as he would have liked. So will we see a shift around in the positions after this set of pit stops? Because remember, last time Rogers came in first and left 4th.
Yeah, exactly. So there may be a little bit of shuffling around here for these drivers. We will just have to wait and see how well these digital pit crews are able to respond. Remember, there's a little bit of give and take that happens whenever you come into pit lane to kind of mirror the things that you have when you come down into pit lane on a normal race. And the other thing to keep in mind is that you've got to make sure you hit your marks, because if you blow by your pit stall, that is going to be a couple of seconds worth of detrimental damage to you.
So looks like Lawson Peel hitting his marks, watching the others, not seeing anybody overshoot quite yet. Who is going to be the first back out to the track? Oh, somebody overshot it big time. That was Dakota Wilson, who is going to lose a ton of time there. And as they exit towards the cones, it looks like Lawson Peel is going to be the first. But how about Mario Miranda, who looks like he's got 2nd place? Interesting stuff. Let's actually have a quick chat with Lawson Peel here and see how he felt about that last stint. Lawson, this is Joe Peak up in the booth. Fantastic run to take the stage win. That looked pretty intense there at the end.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I got it or if Joe got it, because Joe crossed the line. You know, he was ahead at the line, so I think maybe he got it, but I was a little bit ahead when the caution came out. So, but yeah, it was dead even there. I can't wait to see that on the replay, see how close it was.
Lawson, looks like Race Control did give us a list that said you won that stage, so congratulations.
All right, I'll take it. Good deal.
But now you've got Mario Miranda, who seems to be on a good run at the start of this season. Do you feel concerned about having him back there?
No, I mean, I know I'm gonna have to beat him, and I know he's really good, and he's showing speed tonight. So it's just gonna depend on what happens here in this last stage. If this goes green the whole way, you know, that's one thing. But you know, don't really know what to do here, because we could go green the whole way. You could get a caution after 15 or 20 laps, and so that could reward guys that kind of go hard here at the beginning. So just kind of have to see what happens, and hope it goes in our favor.
Well, best of luck. We'll be watching out for you.
I appreciate it.
That was Lawson Peel, your current leader of the race. I do believe DJ's also got Mario Miranda ready to talk to us. DJ?
I do indeed, Mario. Little bit of a yo-yo race for you, a little bit up and down, but how's it feeling for you behind the wheel of the 99?
It feels good. That car feels really great, and it feels really good in the long run. It's just that those first 5-10 laps, it seems like guys kind of forget what tire saving is, and they jump out and they start racing really hard, and you know, it's kind of like I'm just like a bee in a hive. I just have everyone around me trying to get past, and I'm just doing my best to save what I have. But I guess it showed there at the end, going from like P11, P12 all the way up to P4. If there was maybe 5 more laps in that stage, it would have been a really easy stage win.
Well, you've got to be feeling especially good then coming into this longest stage of the race, knowing that you're able to save like that.
Yeah, I'm really hoping this stage goes green, and even we might have even green flag pit stops. We might be able to make it. I'm not sure, but yeah, if this this last stage goes green, and those guys keep burning those tires like they have been, I really do feel like I have a really good shot at winning this.
Well, Mario, we wish you all the luck in the world. I see the lights are off. We'll let you get focused in, and good luck in these final 57 laps.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Joe, that was Mario Miranda, driver of the number 99.
Well, interesting the different takes, or the same takes really, on the one in those green flag laps here to the end. We'll see who can come out ahead on that one. Also, him talking about maybe taking green flag stops. I mean, that's an interesting one to me, DJ. What would your call be?
My call would be stay out. The likelihood of getting a caution near the end of this race continues to get larger and larger the closer you get to the end of the race, if that makes sense. And so I don't think you want to throw that out the window by coming in and putting yourself potentially a lap down and digging yourself your own hole.
We'll see who makes that risky call and who decides to stay out as the pace car getting ready to dive into the lane. There it goes. Peel has control, waiting for the green flag as they approach the stand. There it is. Green flag is out. Almost a jump start for Miranda. That checkup has cost him. He goes backwards, and Sanchez dives into second.
Dives into second here at this point as they continue to fan themselves out around the track. 2 wide back for third place, and indeed back through the rest of the field.
And in fact, I think Sanchez just got on the radio to the stewards about looking at that jump start potentially. I don't know if they're going to try and look at that and do something about it, but he did back off. So I don't think any advantage was gained there by him as he ducks down to the bottom side. Still a battle for second. Zach Wilson versus Joe Sanchez.
Yeah, they're going to continue that battle up here at this point as they continue to go. Sanchez and Peel, Sanchez and Wilson, everybody just kind of slotting around here behind Miranda, doing a good job. I'm very interested to hear what he was saying about particularly saving those tires as much as possible early in the race, because I think that puts a big, big target on that number 99 machine.
Listening to the stewards here. Okay, stewards have cleared Miranda. They did not think he did a jump start since he let go of the throttle and let them go ahead of him. So he's going to narrowly escape a penalty there. That's a really good heads up by him in the heat of the moment to see what was going on and avoid that. Meanwhile, back to Colin Forrester. I feel like this Tide car has been really in the thick of it a lot today, DJ. So I wouldn't bet too hard against him having a good shot at the win.
No, I wouldn't either. I think he's a car you've got to keep circled out on the racing circuit here at this point. He is one that has consistently seemed to have been in every battle possible as they continue to fight their way around the track. So I certainly think he is one that you're going to have to watch out for. As indeed giving a little bit of a bump draft, a little bit of a how you do there to Wilson up in front of him.
96 of Austin Reedy up on their high side, and that's Stempien back in the thick of it himself. Lawson Peel looking back at Joe Sanchez. Currently, Peel, having started this race in third, has been basically hovering around the front of the pack for pretty much the entire way and has now taken one of the stage wins. We still have a long ways to go as they drift up the corner off onto the backstretch. And look at the pack behind them, though. It is still 3 wide in some places back there.
Yeah, it's still very, very sturdy. I mean, look at that. 3 wide, as you said, almost 2 deep there as they continue to go. This is an absolute hornet's nest, and these drivers have got to be careful. This is not the way you want to be running with 50 laps to go.
Certainly not, and I wouldn't want to try and risk the car at this stage if I were some of them. Wonder what happened to Harlow in all of this. He's back in 30th still, so he's still got some work to do, but is obviously making a few passes in the meantime. This middle of the pack, this is somewhere around 12th down to 20th that we've been watching. We're on board with Progar in the middle of it.
Yeah, Progar just trying to work his way through all of it here at this point, being nice and careful. I like what Progar's doing. He's just holding up on the high lane here. He's not making too many moves, just holding everything in line and waiting for this race to come to him potentially.
Back down to that middle lane as they come back onto the back stretch once again. And underneath him, it's the 71 of Curtis Kelly. He's also got the 8 of Kip Easley there up in front of him as we look once again back to the lead pack, where Sanchez leads Miranda 3 wide behind them. We've had a change for the lead. Peel no longer on the point.
No, that's going to be Sanchez able to put that red machine up into the point, and also Wilson looking particularly aggressive, taking down to the apron, coming across the start-finish line. I think that 51's tired of waiting around. Is there? We take a look on board with Forster right in the heat of things.
And watch out for Stempian. Look at that. Around the high side here, down into 3 and 4, cuts back across, and he's looking wicked fast off of turn 4.
Yeah, he certainly is carrying some great momentum up on that high side. He's going to be able to get his way up into 3rd. And don't look now, but before you can say anything else, he's going to be challenging Miranda up here for P2.
He does still have Lawson in that number 12, just below him. Going to check in with Stempian as he rides high. Yeah, there is Peel there in that number 12, just underneath him. We got a yellow. Looks like Progar, actually. We're just watching him and a few other cars I see sliding down the banking in 3 and 4. I think this starts with the 46, though, of Joseph Mahar.
Yeah, it looks like we got a couple of cars there relatively damaged there, including that number 7. Let's check out exactly what happened, though. Here's the 46 of Mahar that you were talking about, Joe.
Yeah, there's a problem in front of him. And then the 7 was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and from there it is dominoes below them. That's a bit strange, though. I didn't quite see. Oh, his car's trying to avoid the wreck and get to the bottom. They all kind of ran into each other, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm still interested to see what happened here with Dakota Curtis, because I think this is going to be the opening thing here. And let's just check and see, because it looks like he starts to come down the track a little bit. Oh, contact there with the 30, and that's what really sets everything else around.
Tell you what, the 47 had a miraculous escape. Isaac Mock got just the tiny piece of the incident, a little touch, but he was sideways and in the middle of other spinning cars and still came out the other side.
All right, let's ride on board with the number 47 of Mock here as they come out of turn 2. Remember, this is going to develop coming down into turn 3. So let's see here what happens for him. Tries to be able to get everything up underneath him, gets that tag there, completely sideways. Cars going on all around him. That is some amazing car control and some amazing mental fortitude from the number 47.
I was going to say, I'm mostly impressed how he stayed cool in all of that and didn't try and wheel the car too hard. It just kind of let it right itself and carried on. But we had a few drivers pit. I suspect many of them are trying to get damage repaired after that. Yeah, see Curtis Kelly, Progar in there. Harlow is in there. Now, did he get caught up in that as well? I wasn't looking out for him.
I wasn't either. I don't think he got collected in that. Maybe that's a little bit of a strategy call. Maybe come into the pits here at this point, top up, make sure you're good to the end, and then if this thing stays green, maybe run the risk that a couple of the drivers in front of you are going to have to come in for green flag stops.
It was a 50-second stop, and I did look. He had a bit of a punch to the front of the car, so he may have gotten a bit of damage. I was just trying to get that fixed. I mean, this is a very fast track, so I wouldn't be surprised if you want it to be really clean.
Yeah, you want it to be as clean as possible. You don't want any sort of aerodynamic abnormalities on the car. You want absolutely everything to be as pristine as can be. So completely understandable that he's going to take that 50-second pit stop and make sure that everything gets taken care of.
So what did this do for the order? Well, Zach Wilson's in the lead, Forrester's second, Muscarella is in third. We haven't really talked about him hardly at all. Logan Sturgeon is now into fourth. Mock, who I mentioned earlier, well, he found himself in 5th place with that great Dodge.
Well, look at that, moving his way up through the field. When we've got misfortunes coming along, Joe, it's got to be a driver that is able to take advantage of others' misfortune that's going to find himself in the best position.
As with most racing series, these are not done alone, so we want to give a big thank you to sksimracing.com for helping make this possible and for their support of the Sunoco Cup Series. All right, we're on lap 86 here of the race now. Still a long ways to go. Number of drivers have now come in, but they should have, pretty much all of them should have at least one more stop if they need it at the end, one more set of tires. So they're not completely out of it. And this might get them some track position. So I don't know, this might not be too bad of an idea.
No, I don't think it's the craziest idea in the world, Joe. In fact, I think it's actually a pretty decent one here at this point, but we're going to have to see how this plays out. I think a lot of the strategy and the call of the rest of this race is going to be is if we get more cautions.
Yeah, good point. And, well, I mean, we've had a couple here now, or at least some scary moments at this point of the race. So it'll be a bit of a long run from here to the end. So they will still have to save those tires a little bit if we go green to the finish and the drivers who pitted stay out all the way. Those who are trying to go from that last stage caution to the end are really going to have to conserve. And of course, we don't know what the fuel mileage is going to be like as well on what is a very thirsty track. Garrett Brown apparently got an EOL. Not sure what that was about. So first drivers on fresh tires right now. Two that I would not want to see with them, DJ, Sanchez and Miranda.
Yeah, that's not the best thing you want to see if you're a little bit farther up in this field, but nevertheless, I think it's a good omen there for Miranda, the other drivers that were able to come on in.
Small correction on that. I think, oh, wait, no, no, he did come in, excuse me. That is right, Sanchez did take tires. So pace car is in. And we wait for the green flag. This time it's Wilson leading the way. Green flag is out. Top row once again didn't go, but it's not quite the same situation as last time, as now looks like the 31 of Colin Forrester is going to have to fight with Muscarella while Wilson takes off to the up into the distance.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good jump there on the rest of the field. Luwaj on board with Miranda right now. He's going to have a little bit of a look down to the inside there of the number 22 as they work their way down into 3. He's got to watch out there a little bit. That 22 looked like he wanted to pinch and almost pinched down on the 99.
Yeah, that's my one worry about this is he's now in the thick of the pack. Plus, like I said, it's a number of laps that they're going to have to go if this does stay green. So I don't know how hard he'd really want to charge here.
Well, I mean, he's been able to be fast with relatively older tires, so I wouldn't count him out of the equation here at this point. But we're going to ride on board with Logan Sturgeon right now, who's got a driver's eye view here of Forrester and Muscarella really duking it out in front of him.
Yep, wheel to wheel here for P2. Just about making contact coming up off of 4. Muscarella has to try and bring it back down low so that he doesn't bang into the 31. Sturgeon thinks briefly about looking underneath him, then backs off of it. He's also got Jesse Whittington in the 94 just behind him.
Yep, here as they come now out of turn 2, now into turn 3. It looks like that side-by-side there is going to continue on behind him. Jesse Whittington just holding on to the best of his ability here, looking down to the inside of Sturgeon. That's not going to play itself out. Meanwhile, Mock and Adcock continue to be side-by-side there behind Whittington.
They fly down in turn 1 once again. We're down to 40 laps to go now. That is the same length that we went for the first stage, which did have one break of a yellow in the midst of it. Aaron Adcock in the number 23 here, sitting in 7th position. That's another name that we haven't really talked about a lot. He's up 25 spots right now from 32nd on the grid.
Yeah, Aaron doing a really good job here, just slowly, methodically working his way through the field, getting his way on up through the field here at this point. He's doing an absolutely stellar job.
Yeah, like what I'm seeing. A little look down to the inside there from the 94 of Whittington. He's going to try and take the bottom away from Logan Sturgeon for the little bit. And he's going to get it briefly, but can't quite make the pass. Sturgeon blasts back forward. The 47 of Isaac Mock now coming along the high side.
Yeah, Mock going to try to put in a little bit of a play here at this point. A little bit of movement there behind. Ooh, I think that was Whittington getting a little bit squirrely down on that low side, and that's going to send him farther back down in the order.
Riding on board here, looking back at all the action going on. And as they sail 2x2 out of turn 4, does look like this middle of the pack is actually relatively well behaved, at least right now. We'll see if that changes later on. Everybody tries to find their own lane. Joe Sanchez in there trying to see if he can follow Miranda through as they use those fresh tires to good effect.
Yeah, Sanchez following Miranda on through, and I think for the two of them, they certainly know that they are going to want to hook up here because they are going to have the advantage over the rest of these cars, and so they're going to want to follow in each other's tire tracks here. As there you see getting on by the number 13 right now, trying to be able to put that car down. Oh, that is very close running. Kudos here to all these drivers for keeping it clean.
Oh, it's been great racing out there today, I have to say. Guys have been very respectful, but racing hard. As we come onto the back stretch once again, down to the bottom, up towards the front. Is that Ray Rogers? Yeah, Rogers is right now fighting for 5th position with Isaac Mock up there.
Yeah, well, we've seen Rogers have a really strong car in that first stint of the race, in that first stage, and now he's going to be trying to push his way up ahead a little bit. But remember the problem that Rogers had. Tire degradation near the end of that cycle certainly looked like it put him in range. Oh, big wiggle there, though, out of the 47 of Mock. He was able to gather it up before that became a bigger problem.
Up ahead of them, worth noting that Wilson and Forster kind of running away. But we've seen that before, where a driver gets reeled back in pretty quickly. So I wonder if they're going to regret that a little bit later on. We're going to jump back with Sanchez again, now up to the top 10. Miranda just in front of him, basically holding his hand and leading him through the crowd.
Yeah, just leading him along here at this point. That's going to be the best thing for him to do as they continue to try to run here, try to be able to get their way ahead. Let's see if there's going to be able to have anything happen. We check a little bit farther back down in the field here at this point. This is the battle back down for about 12th position as Sanchez, there you can see holding on in that 10th place as he and Miranda try to fight Adcock and Mock up on the high side.
One thing that's interesting is Lawson Peel is still stuck down in 14th, and he looks so strong in the middle of this race. Would have expected maybe he'd be farther forward, but he may be having trouble at this stage. In fact, I think, yeah, there he is right there in that 12 machine. Nearly made contact with the 22 a moment ago.
Yeah, nearly made contact, but the crucial thing is there is he didn't. He was able to keep things pointing the way he wants to, and he may just be in a little bit of tire-saving mode here, Joe. He may just be trying to hold on to those boots as long as possible and then maybe make a charge a little bit later on in the race.
Yeah, that could be it. There could be all kinds of strategies going on. Ooh, Summer looking a little loose back there in the background. Checking back in with Miranda. He's now up to P7. And Sanchez is no longer right behind him. In fact, he's underneath. Maybe the time for working together is over, and now he wants to try and make his own path.
Yeah, maybe he does, but he's going to have a little bit of a problem there because Miranda is using Rogers right now as a little bit of a pick to keep Sanchez trapped down on that low side. Some good strategy there from the number 99, but now as the 11's going to slide up into the high lane, it's going to have that problem reversed on him a little bit. And there you see him just trying to pinch down Miranda, or trying to pinch down Sanchez as much as possible to really prevent that 55 from getting the best run that he can.
This is all being led by Sturgeon and Muscarella, who've been with this pack, but they've been at the point of it. Those two have been line astern for many laps now, and it's everybody behind that's been kind of swapping around. I wonder if we're going to see that start to change the way the cars handle closer to the end of the stint. Here's the onboard with the 48.
Yes, it is. Let's see if we can get any indication of how this car is exactly handling. Looks pretty good down to the inside line. He's going to let the car drift up off the track. I'm not seeing any big squiggles there, and I'm seeing some pretty smooth and consistent lines. So I think this is good sailing here for the 48 for the moment.
But I'm seeing 3 wide behind them. Look at this. As there goes Miranda up into P6. Make that P5. Strong run off of turn 2 to go by Ray Rogers. Austin Reedy's the one that's following suit. Sanchez is actually kind of dropping him a bit.
Yeah, kind of dropping him a little bit here at this point. We'll have to see what he's able to do. Oh, that was a big squiggly moment up in front there for Miranda. He was able to keep the car underneath him, but barely so.
And still on board with Brackett there for a little bit of a moment, and we got a caution. Oh, big wreck into turn one. Looks like Richard Swavely, the 22, another car getting involved. That is Chris Shoemaker coming in late. Brad Fulham looks like he gets a big part of it. Trying to see where this started exactly. And I think it was that 13? Yeah, Gary Sexton, I think.
Yeah, looks like a little bit of argy-bargy coming across the start-finish line there. Oh, that was just an errant snap there from the number 22 machine. That's where that started out, Joe. I don't think there was contact. I think he may have made contact with the apron, and that's could have what sent him around a little bit.
I'm taking another look at it on my screen. We might want to look above. This might actually give us a good idea. Yeah, they do touch. They do touch there. And that put him on the apron, and I think the apron just exacerbated it. Shoemaker was trying to slow it up, but I guess not enough, and the car just blasted into that wreck.
Yeah, really nowhere for him to go. Those cars and the force of gravity just pulling them down to the track. Shoemaker trying to thread the needle, and it just didn't work out.
Well, if you didn't pit on that first one, you absolutely want to at this one. Less than 30 laps to go, and just as I suspected, everybody comes in.
Yeah, you do not want to be the odd man out here without fresh tires with 26 laps to go. You've got to come in and get them here at this point, because not necessarily because having them is going to be a massive, massive advantage for you, but because not having them is going to put you at such a significant disadvantage, you're not going to be able to come back from it.
All right, down to their pit stalls. Who's going to be first out after this latest caution? Track position won't be everything, but it will help you out up towards the front. Does Wilson beat the 31 of Forrester? Yes, just barely. And Miranda is the one out in third.
Oh, that is a very, very big change in fortune here for these drivers. Miranda out in third. We know how quick that car can be.
Just continues to impress. It seems like he is never one that you can bet against too much, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more here of the Kalist Synthetics 200 at Las Vegas.
What got into you? At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. We've been doing it for American racing for over 50 years. Fuel your best.
Fuller. Yeah. Needed F-150 for Smith build.
Got it.
Yesterday.
I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done.
How's he do it?
I can search nationwide, even those classified sites. Auto Tempest, all the cars, one search. That's how I do it.
What I'm really proud is that I own MPI, the steering wheel company, and I'm building the steering wheel. This is my creation.
This is yours?
Yes.
It's so sexy.
The steering wheel, it's a very unique thing. It's shaped on the hand of Scott Dixon.
This hand?
Yeah. This grip has 27% more grip feel than suede. Scott in the race is gonna make less effort when he drives. When you're in the car, it's like lifting, it's like having 40-pound dumbbell like this, maybe more in the car.
For how long?
3.5 hours. You know, average heart rate in the car, never below 150. Never below 150. You need to be a real athlete to drive. Yeah. They exercise every day. So this is my creation. Amazing. And we did.
Janice.
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. We've been doing it for American racing for over 50 years. Fuel your best.
Welcome back to the Kalist Synthetics 200 at Las Vegas. And up at the top, Zach Wilson leads with Colin Forrester starting beside him. I'm Joe Peak here with DJ Clark. Hopefully we'll be able to take you all the way to the end here. We'll see if we can keep some green flag racing, because late in this race, it's definitely seen a lot more yellows start to crop up. And this allowed pretty much everybody to pit in and take some tires. So who will this advantage? Who will find themselves frustrated by the end? The pace car is getting ready to duck off into the lane. Wilson has been up towards the front. He could be a strong contender, but watch out for Miranda. Sturgeon as well has been hovering around there late in the race. Here comes the green flag, and Wilson is on it. Top line doesn't seem to go at all.
No, and we've seen that stack up a couple of times up on the top lane, and look at that, driver's just scooting their way down to the inside to really try to be able to get as much momentum as they can, getting off of that high line, which, as you said, Joe, had just kind of a big stall there up in the green flag running.
I mentioned earlier how Lawson Peel just caused a big wreck himself, and I think that's going to take out Joe Sanchez. A number of other cars piling in. Ray Rogers, the 71 of Curtis Kelly. Oh, no. And I was just going to comment about how the 12 suddenly has reappeared at the front. But now that he's done that, I wonder what the stewards are going to be saying about that, because he absolutely hooked Ray Rogers right into Austin Reedy. There it is.
Yeah, there's the push, there's the hook, and just right around there, the 12 looks like they're able to escape relatively unscathed, but still not the best look there for that number 12.
Not sure what happened. Let's watch from on board. Yeah, I'd be hard-pressed to argue for the 12 in this one. He kind of drifts up a little bit into that car.
Yeah, really kind of does there. Just drifts up a little bit. I've got to agree with you there about that, Joe. Not exactly the best run there for him.
On board with Whittington. Does he get a big part of this? Oh, yeah, he does. Oh.
And just nowhere for him to go. The C's part right in front of him, and you see that car right there. That number 11 just nowhere to go in the 94. Big contact.
So that was some major players taking the damage in that one. That's not what you want to see. And, I mean, this is going to be big implications for a few drivers, especially in the championship itself. Sanchez probably not going to be happy about that one, no doubt. Ray Rogers, who was on such a good race. I believe we have one of the Wilsons. I'm checking to see which Wilson we have to talk to here. We're going to talk to our leader, Zach Wilson, see how he feels about all this, if he likes these plural cautions coming up or not. Zach, this is Joe Peak within the booth. You're leading the way right now, and you're getting a lot more yellows than what we had early on in this the race. Do you think this is working well for you, or does this make you a little bit nervous?
It makes me a little nervous because these guys behind me don't have any tire sets left. I know me and Colin still have one on the one in the pits left, so I was kind of hoping we could get about a 15 or 20 lap run here, and then maybe get a late caution with 5 to go and be able to throw on a set of stickers and really walk off with this. But it'll definitely make it interesting. We've had a lot of good racing tonight, a lot of hard side-by-side racing. That was the most fun I'd ever had coming to the end of stage 2 there. I was trying to make it 3 wide, but I thought better of it to save me, Lawson, and Joe some headache for the rest of this race. But yeah, hopefully we can come out with a good finish tonight and put on a good show for everyone who's tuning in.
Speaking of headache, you've got Mario Miranda, who's been looking pretty wily in much of this race. Are you keeping an eye on him?
Well, you broke up there, but yeah, he's wily like Wile E. Coyote. He's going to choke it away before too long. The Roadrunner will take off with it, so we're not too worried about him.
I like the confidence there. Well, Zach, good luck on this next restart. We'll let you get ready.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
That was Zach Wilson in the 51 leading this race. My goodness, the smack talk, DJ.
A little bit of how you doing there. I like it. I like some of the confidence here that these drivers are exuding. It's certainly fun to see.
So how is Miranda going to respond to that one? Did he hear that? Some drivers do listen or even watch sort of these broadcasts as the races go on. But it'll be fun to hear thoughts on that one a little bit later down. Forrester going to be restarting in third, Logan Sturgeon in fourth, and Alex Muscarella there in P5. And we do have Lawson Peel there in the sixth place in the number 12. But again, probably not going to make friends after that latest incident.
No, he is not, but I am hearing right now that Progar in the number 7 has requested an end-of-line penalty for damage here at this point, so clearly some problems there for him, and he does not want to be up in the meat of the field causing problems when he knows he's got a wounded race car.
Well, right now, the field has dwindled significantly, especially from that last wreck. I'm only seeing what looks like about 31, 32 drivers still out there. We are getting word from race control that they are not investigating the 12, although they do consider it his fault. But with it not being intentional, they are going to let it slide for now, and the race will carry on. We'll see if he can make it back around and sneak a win in today, and what his rivals will think of that if he does wind up winning. Well, they're stuck at the sidelines come the checkered flag. Less than 20 to go here. The other question with all these yellows, DJ, are we going to manage to finish without a green-white checkered?
Well, we'll have to see if things keep going the way they are here at this point. We may very well see a green-white checker, but Joe, let's hope we don't, because I'd love to see this thing under normal green conditions.
I'll be honest, when I first looked at these onboards, the lighting's so similar, I thought they were actually sitting next to each other for a second. So here we go. I'm sure there'd be a very fascinating conversation between them if they could do that, but pace car is in. And Wilson's waiting for it. He's on it now. Green flag is out. Looks like Miranda's off a little better than many of his competitors this time. Down to the bottom, looks like Lawson Peel likes that low line early.
And he's going to hold on down to that low line here early on. Miranda's going to go on the high side. Forrester going to hold down low as well. As we watch Peel here, looks like Sturgeon's just trying to pick his line here at this point, not necessarily being committal to one. But Peel looks like he's got a pretty good run, but he's going to find himself blocked in a little bit behind Forrester and Miranda.
Wilson pulling away at least right now. Forrester just behind with Miranda almost pushing him forward. In fact, a big push, and he's going to duck down to the bottom, try to take the lead away.
A little bit of a bump and run here on an intermediate oval, and I don't think Wilson took too kindly to that. He definitely gave a big pitch, and that's Wilson up into the wall.
He's still got it. Oh, but caution is out for something behind them, I think. Schoonover, yeah, in the number 9 machine. Oh, what kind of damage, though, is on Zach Wilson. I think he's still scored as our leader. So here's what happened to Bill.
Big jumble up there behind. He was lucky to get into turn 1 nice and easy, as there you see the 94 like a rocket ship. Little bit of a bump there from behind, from the 96 to the 75, and then from the 75 into the 9, and that was just enough to spin him around. It does look like Schoonover is going to be able to avoid any damage, but let's take a look here at Wilson. Just too much speed on the exit of the corner there, Joe. I think he was trying to wheel it a little bit too hard.
Wow, if that yellow had come out just a second later, he would have been in second place to Forrester. So once again, another driver saved by the bell today. It's just really wild stuff happening here at the end of this race. I've seen cascades of incidents go backwards down the field. That's one of the few times I've ever seen them go up the field for the wreck.
Yeah, that's a little strange. Not normally something you see every day. I'll be the first to admit that.
Let's see if we can have a little chat with Colin Forrester as well, since we were talking to Zach not long ago, and see what he thinks about all this. Colin, you had to have seen that bump into the wall there from the 51. Is it a little frustrating that the yellow came out just a little too early for you?
Oh, definitely, man. I thought I had him there for a second, but we'll just try and get him again on this restart. I know I washed up a little bit, and I think that's what got him tightened into the wall, so I definitely apologize about that, but it's just hard racing up here at the front, and I'm going to try and get it done here.
I don't know if you can see anything on that car from your perspective. Does it look like he has any damage?
It's hard to tell. I don't see any damage. It didn't look like it hit too hard, so I think he'll be good.
Well, we're hoping that we can get some green flag racing back. I'm sure you do as well. It seems like Zach feels pretty confident towards the end. If we do get this going green to the checkers, how are you sitting?
I definitely feel pretty good here. I've been fast on the short run at least all night. Not as great as on the long run, but we're not going to have another long run, so I'm feeling pretty good. And we'll just try and get that victory.
Said with quite a bit of confidence there. Well, best of luck there, and we'll keep an eye out for you.
All right, appreciate it.
31 of Colin Forrester, currently second place. Okay, DJ, I mean, there wasn't even a question in his voice. It was, we're not going to get a green flag run.
All right. I mean, well, and he's also saying that with only 15 laps left to go, that is a pretty short run, but he clearly thinks that we're going to get another yellow here before everything is said and done. I hope he's not right, but we'll have to see.
Indeed. Yeah, I'd love to see this get going here. And as nope, we're not going to stack up quite yet, so we still got another 2 laps around before we get rolling once again. How many are we down to at this stage? Still at about 32 cars, it looks like. Don't think we've lost many new. A few have gotten back out onto the track. Some are still taking extensive repairs. Brad Fulham's been in there for 15 minutes trying to get the car running. There's the 75 there on your screen. That is, I lost track of who that was. That's Charles Phelps, actually, out there that we saw. Judd Danielson definitely gets my Dory Award right now. 22 minutes of repairs. He's 27 laps down, but he's still out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you've got to love and respect for some of these drivers, just the ability to keep yourself going, keep yourself into the mix, no matter how hard it gets. Just, well, as you said, it's the Dory Award. You just keep swimming.
So he'll try and make up a few more positions. He's close enough, I think, to Danielson and Mayhar that he could take them. And no, I don't think he's close enough to Brad Fulham, unfortunately. So it might only be 2 more positions for poor Judd Danielson sticking out there. We could see more stuff like this, though, next time out, because we're going to Talladega next week. So speaking of taking a roll of the dice, that one is also going to be a little bit of a mix-up, no doubt, allowing many drivers an opportunity they might not normally see to take the victory, as now we go 2 by 2 and get ready to restart.
All right, here we go. Hopefully the last time we're going to see the caution flag flying here, and it'll be 12 to go at the line, Joe.
What is Zach Wilson going to have? It seems like to Colin Forrester, he didn't hit too hard. I guess we'll find out very quickly on if the pace is still in that machine or if he did bend something out of shape or not. And behind him, Miranda still hovering in 3rd. And then you've got Lawson Peel in that 4th spot. Again, Logan Sturgeon, just watching out for that 26 because he's kind of been thereabouts, and he's looked pretty confident in the car as well. Just only makes moves when he really wants to make moves. Otherwise, doesn't seem to be bothered trying to get that track position. Could he snipe this at the end as we come around turns 3 and 4? As you heard from DJ, 12 more laps remaining. And we're getting pretty close to getting potentially a green-white checkers if we keep getting these yellows this quickly. Pace car ducks in. Wilson waits for the call from the stands in the number 51. There it is. Green flag is out. He's on the loud pedal. Pretty good start for him. Miranda going to follow as he at least gets to start on the bottom line this time around and doesn't get checked up on the top line. Everybody slowly gets up to pace.
Everybody building their way around here. Forrester working up on that high lane. You see Miranda down low. Peel trying to pick a lane there in between. And don't count out Sturgeon either as they dive down into turn 3.
Forrester running high. 26 drifts back just a little bit off of them. The 12 with a big head of steam. Oh, but a big block as well from Miranda, covering him off all the way to the bottom.
And that's really the first time we've seen a massive defensive move here all night long. And interesting that Miranda threw it there. I think he's feeling the heat from behind. He feels that Peel's going to be the one that could win this race.
That drops Peel back there, having to stick to that low line down at the bottom. Didn't like that one. He's going to be next to Forrester. Miranda slides up to second now because of that almost contact behind them between Sturgeon and I think that was Brackett.
Yeah, I think it was as well. I'm not sure if they avoided it, but 10 laps to go here, Joe. And now Miranda trying out the high lane.
Looking for win number 3 here. We're only on round 5. Great run coming along the outside. Zach Wilson not able to do much, it seems, as he loses a little pace down the backstretch. Shorter line at the bottom, nose back to the front. But what about that momentum off the high line? Miranda back at it again.
He's going to keep trying it here along the high lane. Forrester maybe giving a little bit of a bump there down to Wilson, down to the low line to try to help him out a little bit. But now as they come through the corner, we've got another driver up involved into this. That's going to be Brackett. That's not a name we've called a whole bunch tonight.
Absolutely, and he looks very fast down the back stretch. Almost a bump draft there from Miranda as he decides to intentionally pull behind the 51. That leaves the door open for the 31 as Forrester tries to get underneath. Doesn't quite work out. What about Stempien now? He's on the bottom side in that number 81. Gives another shove to the 31.
Gives another little bit of a shove here. Some lap traffic coming out of pit lane. It looks like Wilson's still able to hold on to this. Miranda trying to make that high line work once again. Forrester working down low. About 7.5 laps to go as we ride on board with Steven Stempien.
2 by 2 by 2 from second on down to 7th here, while the lead is still in the hands of Zach Wilson. He's been able to rebuff the Chargers from behind, and now they're squabbling amongst each other. Although it looks like second and third are going to go single file. There's Miranda and Forrester, abandon the 2 wide racing. We watch from Stempien.
We watch on board Steven here. He keeps it a little bit low coming off the corner, just trying to get as much clean air as possible as Brackett's able to get a good run there up on the high side on him as they now dive down into 3 and 4. Little bit of a pinch there from Brackett, and look at that. That's the number 26 Sturgeon thinking about making it go 3 wide.
He's also bringing on Lawson Peel, who's trying to get back forward himself. As we hop on board with Muscarella down to the bottom lane, he goes in the number 48, throwing his hat in with the 12. They drift up off of turn 2, down the backstretch once again. This time by, it's going to be the point of no return. If they get a yellow, they're going to go to a green-white checkers from here.
Yeah, they are indeed. So here they go. Little bit of bumping and banging on one another here as they come to the line. 5 to go.
47 now looking underneath in there. This is anybody's game, honestly. There's a lot of strong cars in this pack. Anybody gets a good run and manages to figure out how to carry that speed, they could be trying to fight for the win. Right now, Forrester thinks he can as he takes the Tide car down the bottom lane underneath Miranda.
Now underneath Miranda, Forrester, we've seen that car be up in the front pretty much all day long. It's only fitting that he's going to try to make a run for it here as they come 4 to go, but Miranda's not giving him any room. Miranda's staying and fighting high along the high side. Now Miranda almost looks like he's going to have a little bit of a go on Wilson as he carries some speed.
Trouble for the 12 as he nearly gets sent around. He picks it back up. I don't know how. He was in the marbles. He falls to 9th place, though, and that might have taken him out of the running. But great catch to keep that from becoming a wreck here right at the end. Wilson leads Miranda, leads Stempien. That's your top 3.
Ready to go here at the line. The top 3 looking very, very close. Stempien, I think, maybe a good driver to try to push his way up forward here at this point as they're almost leaning on each other. There, Miranda and Wilson coming out of 2.
Miranda chucked it to the bottom lane, but he's poor off the corner. There goes Stempien. He gives a shove. Now he goes to the bottom as well. Try to see if he can overtake the 51. So far, few have been successful here. He's got a little bit of a nose ahead, but the run off the high line looks good for Zach Wilson.
It does look good, but now here comes Miranda thinking about making this 3 wide. Forrester down to the low side, almost thinking about making this 4 wide as they come through the corner here. 1.5 laps to go. I don't know how they're not banging doors.
Miranda stuck in the middle. He's got Forrester on one side, Wilson on the other, and he tries to come down, but Wilson has no space. Now they are going to go 4 wide. Are we going to make it to this white flag to go green to the finish? 4 wide to the line for second place. They are coming together, but it looks like we're going to get that white flag. Let's go green to the finish.
Here we go. That big 4 wide fan out behind him. Stempien's absolutely loving to see this. The more they bang on one another, the more he's going to be able to slip off into the distance, Joe.
They're trying to sort this out as best they can, but they can't make up their minds. Forrester does get ahead of him. The 96 up on the high side of Austin Reedy, and Miranda gets into the side of Wilson, but up at the front of them, Steven Stepien takes the win.
Absolutely remarkable driving here for Steven Stepien. You saw him there be so excited about being able to take that to the line. Fantastic stuff for the 81.
Oh, he was frustrated at the start of this season with his results and was hoping he could turn things around. And what do you know, as soon as he gets to a track he likes, he is successful. So fantastic. Congratulations to the number 81 for that incredible run to the finish, positioning his car just right. He brings it back around here to the front stretch, and now it's time for tonight's Sunoco winning moment. More high-performance racing engines rely on Sunoco race fuels than all others combined. For over 50 years, Sunoco has been fueling the top race car drivers around the world with high-quality performance fuels that they can trust to power them to the checkered flag. Sunoco, fueling victories from track to tank. Look at that. He has got to be over the moon about this one. Took him a long time last season to get that first win, DJ, but this time around, he's starting early.
Yeah, he's starting early here and going to burn down the house at Las Vegas, and well earned. That was a good drive up and down through the field for the 81 here tonight.
While he celebrates, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with the unofficial results, as well as driver interviews for the KalistSynthetics.com 200.
Janice.
What's up, Doug? Hi, Cheryl. What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. We've been doing it for American racing for over 50 years. Fuel your best.
Fuller. Yeah. Needed F-150 for Smith build.
Got it.
Yesterday.
I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done.
How's he do it?
I can search nationwide, even those classified sites. Auto Tempest, all the cars, one search. That's how I do it.
Hi guys, today me and Moose welcome to my extremely formal presentation of my two latest creations, the MPI Sync Chassis and the MPI Foldable Stand. When I created the MPI chassis, I wanted to have everything included, what it means. So in the MPI chassis, I wanted to have everything you need besides the electronics. So it has the keyboard tray, mouse tray, adjustability, TV stand, computer stand, super stiff pedal assembly, a seat that if you want, if you don't have a lot of space, you can fold it. If you have limited space, I solved your problem. The MPI wheel stand, you can use any component you want on it, and at night, fold in half, very limited space, and you can put it away. You can use your own chair, your own TV, problem solved.
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. We've been doing it for American racing for over 50 years. Fuel your best.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We are watching the replay of the last couple laps here of the Kalist Synthetics 200. And I cannot believe what we witnessed here, DJ. 4 wide battle for the top spots, and they stayed green all the way.
Absolutely remarkable here, Joe. You heard us hooting and hollering about it. We certainly thought that this was going to end in a little bit of calamity, but somehow these drivers able to keep things pointed the right way. This is stock car racing at its absolute finest.
You can see they were 3 wide here with a lap and a half to go, and then look at that, 4 wide up around the outside. I thought, oh no, we're going to get the yellow with just about 1 to go, even coming together and making contact. But that 4 wide moment, that made the difference. That little speck up front, that is Steven Stempien laughing at everybody behind him, squabbling over what is now second place instead.
Yeah, he was just laughing all the way to the bank there with that win. The minute they went 4 wide, I think Steven knew that this race was his to lose.
And again, look at that, nearly wrecking just about the entire time, and yet they held it together. In fact, they did wind up spinning across at the very finish, but at least they got to the green, got to the checkers under green as Stempien brought it home. And indeed, as we look at our results, you can see Steven taking his first win of the season after lackluster results at the first 4 rounds. Colin Forrester was behind him in second, and Austin Reedy rounds out your podium from 31st place. Wyatt Brackett, 39th to 4th here today. Zach Wilson, who looked like he was the man to beat for much of the race, wound up 5th as Mario Miranda was P6. Ross Harlow, remember him coming from the back as well multiple times? He wound up 7th. Lawson Peel gathered it back up after he nearly wrecked near the end to finish P8. And Logan Sturgeon was 9th with Jesse Whittington in 10th.
And 11th, it was Banks, followed by Mock, Easley, Adcock, and Kalist. They are your top 15. Then Shoemaker, Curtis, Erb, Swavely, and Gary Sexton rounding out your top 20.
21st went to Charles Feltz with Joe Sanchez 22nd. Then it's Ryan Kendall in P23. Bill Schoonover finishes 24th rather, as Casey Knighton was 25th, Alex Muscarella 26th, and James Kunkel 27th, but he was 2 laps down, unfortunately. Dakota Wilson was 28th, 3 laps down. We're getting to all the drivers that had big issues. Ray Rogers, serious disappointment there, 4 laps down in 29th, and Garrett Brown was 30th.
31st was Bland, followed by Miller, Progart, Kelly, and Mahar, some of the drivers involved in those early incidents that we saw. Danielson was 36th, followed by Fulham, Shoemaker, Winters, and Stevens in 40th, 88 laps down, and then it was Reeves finishing out your field there in 41st position.
Well, he said that he hoped he would get to talk to us post-race and not just before, and I'll tell you what, Steven Stempien, getting to talk to us for a win doesn't get any better than that.
It really doesn't, man. I'm glad. That was what I lead, 2 laps. That was some good racing. I had a blast. I didn't really have a blast that first stage. I fell off that first stage bad, but the last 2 stages was fun.
Well, and the last 10 laps looked absolutely frantic. I mean, could you see them 4 wide behind you battling there at the end?
Oh yeah, I just thanked Austin Reedy for going 4 wide, because I was like, I'm sailing away. See you guys later. Clean air, I'll take it. It was hectic. It was good, clean racing. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. You know, everybody tight. You know, bumping doors, and we didn't get a caution. I mean, it just goes to show you the skill level at this league. So it was fun.
Well, and the good news is that now you don't have to rely on trying to get a lucky win at Talladega or something like that next week.
No, Talladega is one of my good tracks. I won there last year, but hey, I'll take it, man. There's a huge weight off my shoulders. I definitely thought sophomore slump was in my future for this season, and I'm glad I was able to get that. I knew I kind of wanted the middle line. The middle line seemed to really peak as the race went on, and it was just able to hook really well. And I got stuck a couple of times on the bottom, and I was getting freight trained like I was at a super speedway. I was like, what's going on? I'm dropping down to 9th, 10th at that first stage, and I was just stuck on the bottom. But hey, man, it all worked out. You guys were good luck. You guys are going to have to talk to me next week.
I like that plan. Again, congratulations, Steven. Fantastic run.
I appreciate it, guys. Shout out to my team out there at 0G, Dakota, Mario, Gary, and my wife, beautiful wife out there. I love you. And my pops out there watching. Love you too, pops. I'll see you guys later. See you next week.
Steven Stempien in the 81 taking victory today. Behind him, it was Colin Forrester. DJ has caught up with him.
Well, Colin, it looked like you were in the mix of things all day long, and a little bit of a crazy run to the line there for you. How was it?
It's definitely interesting there. Just wish I could get the Stimpy in there a little faster, but those 4 wide for like that whole lap was definitely exciting. I'm glad I was able to get clear off of 2 because I knew I was pretty much had second settled there, especially with them being 3 wide still. So I was just able to try and send it in and get to Stympian, but I knew it probably wasn't going to happen. But just a really good day for the 31, and we'll try and keep it up. I know consistency is a big thing, and just try and keep this momentum I have right now and move on next week.
Well, talk to me a little bit, because I'll talk to you about Dega here next time out in a few moments' time. But talk to me a little bit about just how much of a great run it was out there for you on that 4 wide. I mean, what were you thinking? I would have been absolutely petrified.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't even know we were 4 wide to the backstretch. I was just kind of like just trying to maintain my line there at the bottom, and then I hear 4 wide, and I'm like, oh boy. So, I mean, it's definitely interesting. I'm glad we didn't wreck, and I'm glad I was able to pull out, like I said, and just able to get that P2.
Well, talk to me then about how you're facing down Talladega next time out. Always tricky, always a little bit of a roll of the dice, but are you feeling good?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I would say that I'm a pretty decent super speedway racer. I showed that I was pretty good at Atlanta. I know it's not technically a super speedway, but races like one now, and definitely ran well there. But Talladega is a whole different monster. I mean, you never know what's going to happen there. You always got the big one, and you basically just hope you don't get wiped out in it. And if you don't, you got a chance.
Well, I wish you all the luck in the world when you get there, Colin. But anybody you'd like to thank for today?
Just shout out to everyone on Team Fast Banana, Wyatt, Curtis, as well as Reedy for getting top 3 as well. He came out of nowhere there at the last second. Thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Look forward to going back and watching it like usual. And just thank you to Dakota and everyone in the league for having me. I'm really looking forward to next week at Talladega.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you there, my friend. That was Colin Forrester, your second place finisher here tonight.
And we've got Austin Reedy, who was 3rd. And a little bit earlier, we heard Steven Stympian give him a big thank you for making it 3 wide. Austin, would you rather have the win than the thank you, I assume?
I don't know. I actually weren't 3 wide. We were 4 wide. But that was insane. The win would have been nice, but coming back, we restarted in 27th on that restart, and we got all the way up to 3rd. So that, I mean, it was insane. I don't know. I still had 5 minutes of damage on the car to repair. I don't know how we drove that like that. It was insane. It was a great race.
It was a phenomenal race from our perspective. It did get a little bit slowed down late in it with a lot of yellows. Were you said you had some damage. Were you caught up in one of those?
Yeah, it was when we made contact on the backstretch after one of the, I think it was lap 108, and Ray got hooked by Lawson a little bit.
Oh,
I think
that's
he came
right.
down and he netcoded me, and that's what gave us our 5 minutes. We're actually 6 minutes of damage. We got a minute repaired and came back out and restarted 27th, I believe, and we didn't even have tires to put on, and after we spun, so we had worn tires and 5 minutes of damage. So a 3rd place is pretty insane from coming back from that.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, I remembered you being involved in that incident. Have you had a chance to talk to Lawson? Because we were a bit surprised when that unfolded.
Yeah, we talked about it. It looked like he said he came up and drifted up a little bit and kind of hooked the 11 down into us, but then it looked like the 11 netcoded into our car, and he was actually inside my car at one point, and then it just turned me, and I don't know. I think there's a little bit of connection issues going on with all 3 of us. Just something happened, something weird, but it's all right. I mean, it's a race, and it's how this track was tonight. We had to run bumper to bumper all night with how this package was, and how cool the track was, just drafting and racing hard, and really no time to save tire. Just got to go for it.
Well, again, phenomenal job working your way back up there, and especially even from the beginning of the race, you came up from 31st. Congratulations. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, we got Teamer Designs and TJ's team in the car every week, so they're two great sponsors that I've been on my car for years, and proud to represent them here in the MPI or the Sunoco Cup Series.
That was Austin Reedy in the number 96 taking the third place today. And I believe that's going to wrap us up. Don't forget, we'll be back next week with Talladega Superspeedway on April 23rd at 9 p.m. Eastern. A big thank you goes out to Dakota Curtis and all the admins at the Sunoco Cup Series, as well as thanks to the team tonight, DJ, Ryan, and Dougie. Also, none of this is possible without those behind the scenes at Podium Esports, Ryan Bauer, Gary Sexton, and John Theodore. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast of the Sunoco Cup Series. I'm Joe Peak, and I'll see you on the track.